Good morning, folks. This is a gray gesso, and I think it's going to come to me, the name of the wonderful instructor at Art Students League who recommended gray gesso to me and the class, which I find to be something we want to work in, at least for another few paintings, or until we start. If we don't sell what we're doing, it's not about selling, but it is and it isn't. Right now what we're talking about is the compensation that I get, and I'm not talking about financial. I'm talking about the wonderful encouragement and inspiration I get from the YouTube channel is right now is enough for me. That I don't know if that's going to be enough for you or what your thing is. What's your thing? But we got the little canvas thing that I got that you just saw me paint over was just a little something. I was walking with my lady friend along the street in the Bronx, and someone was set up with selling old stuff, and I just got like two of these old, you pick up stuff, and a lot of times you do what you can. And you pick up stuff or you buy stuff for a low price. So we're putting, in the space of time that I'm talking, we're gessoing gray gesso. It's really, now that's a little expensive. That can run into some money. I believe that with tax, it's like $20 for a liquid text. It's very good. It's high quality, gray gesso. But if you don't have the money to spend on that, just whatever, most of my life, I haven't had the money to buy supplies that I felt I needed. And so only recently have I gotten to the point, by some grace of higher providence, that I have a little extra money to buy a little bit of stuff like the gray gesso, which is a higher quality than, let's say, if you just put gray acrylic on the canvas. That would be sufficient too, because all of these things, and here's our work area, and today is President's Day, and Abraham Lincoln's birthday was February 12th, by the way. So, and that's important because I feel that he was just a great person. I always thought so. And you hear criticism, oh, well, anybody that criticizes Lincoln, you can't do any more than he did to help humanity at the time that he was living. It's just, stop criticizing. He was great. Okay, he did what he could. He was great. He gave his life for humanity, for crying out loud. No greater gift can a man give than to give his life for his friends. Leave him alone. He was great. Okay. Also great, Frederick Douglass was great. Read Narrative of a Slave to find out the account of being born into slavery. Frederick Douglass was born into slavery, and they couldn't make him. They had somebody that was like a slave breaker, and they sent him to him because he wouldn't be broken, and he ended up beating the guy up, the slave breaker, and the slave breaker never told anybody because it would have completely ruined his reputation as a slave breaker. But Frederick Douglass beat him up, and only out of self-defense, obviously. I mean, you're sitting there, more than just self-defense, he's protecting his life with an inch of his life. And it took guts because, at that point it was like, well, I can beat them up, but they're going to kill me. But they didn't, thank God. So he was able to escape. He wrote Narrative of a Slave. And the last thing I'll talk about is Henry David Thoreau eating lunch with John Brown. John Brown was an abolitionist who believed in violence to end slavery. He said there was no other way. And he had lunch with Henry David Thoreau, who was a famous pacifist. Look it up. Thoreau, look it up. He said, now I don't know so much about how worthy my views on pacifism are because I've now had lunch with John Brown, who they then executed. Subsequently, they executed John Brown. But that was 1859. They realized at that point in time that even though they executed John Brown, and that was a federal government, there was a split in the government soon after that, as we all know, and the Civil War occurred. Today is February 16th, President's Day, national holiday, and there's a reason for it, 2026. Mercury, do you want to say hello? Say
hello, guys.
Hello, guys. Can you say hello?
Hello, guys.
You are my love, and I thank you for supporting my art. Thank you.
Welcome.